What's up, you guys? It's JD Reviews back with another action figure review, and today we're going to be taking a look at Mattel's Amber collection, VELOCIRAPTOR Delta from the Jurassic World movie. I was very excited to see this on my Target shelf, just hanging out there by itself, and I was like, you know what? I have not seen any of these raptors in person, nor have I handled them, so I was really excited to crack one open and see what they're about. And I do have to say, without doing spoilers on the figure itself, I really enjoy it. And I think if you guys are dinosaur or Jurassic Park World fans, then you will enjoy it too. So let's take a quicker look at the packaging details real quick. We'll just briefly go over it. This is nothing really new for you guys who have had these raptors before, and then we'll take a look at Delta herself. Alright, so just taking a quicker look at the packaging, it's pretty simple. This is the same packaging that's come with the previous raptors that have been released, blue. Then we have the original raptors that came in the first Jurassic Park movie that were painted in a more of a tan color scheme. So yeah, this is very similar. And this is, I think, the same packaging that's coming on the Dilophosaurus that's being put out. I'm sure there's already reviews and people getting those in hand, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so this is pretty much the same. It has a nice matte black kind of vibe to it, with some nice embossed details. For the fossils, we have kind of an amber cracks coming through, done in a nice glossiness. And then we have the same kind of logo stamp that we've come to know with Jurassic Park / World movies. We have VELOCIRAPTOR Delta down here, Jurassic World. We got the nice amber kind of texture right there in the back of the figure when it's displayed, and then we have Amber Collection right here at the top, which, you know, you can kind of tell what toy line this is coming from. And then we have the Jurassic World logo here, same matte black and kind of cracks coming through. Pretty much carries throughout the packaging. Nothing more on the bottom really. And then right here on the back we have a nice picture of Delta from one of the scenes when Owen was kind of training the raptor pack, so that's pretty cool. We have Amber Collection again right here at the top with the same logo that we've come to know. And then we have VELOCIRAPTOR Delta. Although VELOCIRAPTOR Delta is trained by Owen Grady, she also has a close bond with Barry, a lead dinosaur trainer. When she and her pack are brought onto battle the Indominus Rex, the outcome is different from expected, especially for Vic Hoskins. I don't entirely remember that scene, but I'm gonna have to go back and refresh myself. But that's kind of, you know, a basic look at the packaging. So we'll get this out of here and then we'll take a quicker look at VELOCIRAPTOR Delta. Alright guys, so now here's a closer look at Delta herself. And I love the sculpt work on this. I have not seen or handled any of these in person, like I said. So I'm really excited to have this in hand and pose it up. And I'm excited to say that it's really well done. I think Mattel really killed it. I don't have any crazy quality control issues that I haven't seen from other brands. And I love the color scheme on her. She has a nice kind of almost light, creamy, pasty green coming from the bottom of her feet and the top of her hands, transitioning into this kind of lighter green and then a darker green. And then we have this nice kind of spotted texture throughout, which is really nice, and kind of stripes coming through. And then taking a quicker look at the head, we have a nice yellow painted eye, almost like a neon, not neon green, but like it has a hint of green in it with the yellow. And then coming in closer to the mouth, that's really beautiful detail in there. I cannot complain. It opens up really nicely. It has a nice detail with the kind of flesh cartilage coming here. The only thing I wish is that the teeth were a little bit sharper. They're kind of softly sculpted, but the paint detail in here is really nice. I'm not sure if my camera's picking it up, but it does have like a, you know, maybe I think a dry brush kind of texture of a lighter pink over this kind of molded pink. So it kind of separates the texture a little bit. And then we have nice pebbling kind of texture coming throughout the mouth here. Some nice sculpted details throughout the whole figure. We have some kind of bumpiness right here along the neck. And again, the paint is very smooth. It's very consistent. I don't really have too many complaints. From all angles, this looks beautiful. And it's hard to tell, but it's pebbling pretty much sculpted everywhere. Like anywhere you can look under the figure, it's sculpted very nicely with like the wrinkles and just kind of the texture that you would think a dinosaur would be in real life. So that's pretty nice. So it's done in this really nice kind of darker green color. So when you get it in hand, it's not really kind of like that Charlie one that came out. I was looking at some reviews of that one, and that was like a neon green from the footage and the pictures that I've looked at. So I'm really enjoying this darker green. And then we have some nice matte black for the claws up here on the hands, and then for the talons down here on the toes. So that looks pretty cool. No complaints there. And no peg holes. We do have a dinosaur stamp indicating this is a Jurassic Park / World figure. So I guess if you want to authenticate your figures. And then the tail is done more of a rubbery material because it does have bendy wire running through it. So it does separate, like from contrast, this is picking up light a lot more than the tail is, but it's not a drawback in person. When you have this thing in person, you really cannot tell too much. The paint is done so well that it kind of blends in. Pretty much the whole figure is really dope, man. Like, I have no complaints. It stands really nicely on its own. We will get into the few accessories that it comes with, but she could stand there really nicely. And then just kind of look all kind of different directions. And it's really dope. And I did try kind of like a 6-inch figure, like a Marvel Legends style figure, to sit on there, and it does sit on there and hold very nicely. So I'm sure if you guys wanted to, you know, just grab some random figures and throw it on a raptor back and have some fun with some photography, you can do that. So yeah, that's pretty much taking a quicker look at the figure from a close-up perspective. You guys have seen this mold countless times. If you're into these Jurassic Park figures, I'm sure you looked at tons of reviews, and they've come out with so many different colors already. They got blue, I think they have Charlie, and what's the other one? No, Echo's coming out, I believe. But damn, yeah, you guys need to remind me of which ones I know they put out the classic Raptor in the nice tan color with the green eye from the first movie. I kind of want to pick that one up too, just because it's kind of classic and nostalgic. But yeah, let's take a quicker look at the accessories that she comes with, and then we'll look at the articulation and what type of posability this thing could pull off. Alright guys, so for the first accessory, we kind of have the old little camera lens that she comes with. I believe this was also packed in with Charlie and maybe one other Raptor. I'm not sure if it came with blue or not, but this is done in a nice soft plastic material. You kind of just wrap it around the neck. I'm not going to do it on camera, but it'll just kind of sit right there nice and flush, and you can kind of have her running with the camera lens on her head. If you wanted to collect the Raptor squad and pull off that scene, that's pretty cool. But it has some nice little texturing there, some rivets, you know, right here for the straps. This is where the camera would be, I guess. And then it has a nice little buckle where you would kind of hinge it onto her or mount it on her head. It's kind of smooth on the inside of here, so you're not going to damage your figure. And like I said, it's in a nice rubbery material, so you don't have anything to worry about. And for the second accessory, which is kind of just like a stand for her, well yeah, it is a stand, is done in this nice clear yellow material. So if we put Delta back here, we can take a closer look at this, and there's some nice sculpt texturing done to the ground, and it has a nice tampograph right there. It has this clear kind of stand that you would just port a little, you know, just with a little friction. It doesn't really snap into place, but it holds in there nicely. That kind of has a little ratchet hinge, and it swivels back and forth. Same thing up here, has a little ratchet hinge. And then I forgot to show the little peg hole earlier when we were taking a closer look, and you can kind of just use this to plug into the figure. That kind of snaps in a little bit, and then if you wanted to, you know, pull off some jumping scenes with her kind of, you know, coming out of another trainer and just kind of mauling some of the Jurassic Park employees, that's pretty cool. So I really dig the stand that these come with. I think it's, you know, not necessary, but it's really cool. She stands well on her own, but this is really dope. I love the addition of this little stand here. Very minimal, but, you know, nicely done. So we'll just take that off, and then we'll take a quicker look at the articulation. Now that we just have her in hand, we can take a look at the articulation. So starting right here at the head, you have this hinge here at the top of the head that swings up, and then you have another hinge that wants to swing down a bit, so you can get a nice wide mouth position on there. And then right here at the neck, at the base of the neck, you kind of have this little hinge that, you know, tilts back and forth, and that can kind of come up and down a little bit, so you can get some poses where she's looking down. And then right here at the base, connecting to the body, you also have another little ball joint, it feels, and you can get some nice kind of tilted expressions there. So that's really well done. I love the articulation because you can kind of have her, you know, looking like that with her tail in the air, or even just kind of yelling there, or, you know, roaring, that classic Jurassic Park Velociraptor sound. And then right here at the arms, we have just the typical hinge and then swivel. So that kind of goes out like about that far. And then it just swivels 360. So that's not bad. And then we pretty much have the hinge and swivel on pretty much every other joint. So it hinges up and down, and then it swivels, you know, 360. Same for the wrist, hinge, 360. There's no waist articulation on there, but I'm not really mad at it. I'm not missing it. And then we'll just come over here to the tail real quick. At the base, it's kind of like on a ball joint, so you can kind of maneuver that in, you know, different directions. And then I think up until about this point in the tail here is where the bendy wire stops, but you can kind of maneuver that in multiple directions. I don't really like bending the tails too much because I've had a couple figures get ruined that way, but I kind of just like to pose it and leave it in one uniform position. And then yeah, coming back here to the hips, you kind of have these hips that swing out about that far. It's not too much. And the hinge, I feel like they kind of click into place, at least mine does. So like there it kind of clicks into place, and then from there it kind of clicks into place. So there's a couple different hinges there that it wants to stop on. Coming here to the knee, you have the hinge and swivel again, another hinge and swivel at the back of the heel, and then you have a hinge and an ankle rocker, which is really nicely done. And then right here at the toe, which is awesome, little throw-in, was the classic little tapping of the talon. So there's a little hinge in there on both sides of the feet, and then you can kind of pose that, you know, just tap it on the floor, which is really cool. So overall, the articulation on this figure is really nicely done. I think, you know, if you wanted to get her in a nice, about, you know, like she's about to leap or just jump at some enemies, you know, you can get her really posed up nicely. Like that's an awesome pose right there, you know. So I'm really, you know, intrigued by the level of posability and how stable she is on her feet. She does have really wide feet, so that helps a lot. And I love the hinge in the face, how wide this can open, and just the neck. Everything about it is pretty well done. This is kind of what you would want out of a dinosaur toy. So I'm really excited to see if they continue the line. I hope they give us, you know, more obscure kind of dinosaurs that we haven't seen before in a super articulated format. But yeah, let's get some quick size comparisons in real quick, and then we'll close out this review for you guys. So a figure that I have on hand right now is the NECA King Kong. So you can kind of see if we stand her upright, kind of like a normal pose, I guess, that you would maybe have her in. She's, you know, just as tall as far as the height of the head on Kong. I have him obviously kind of tilted down in a kind of more of a, you know, primal stance, you know, more of a natural gorilla position. So he is a little bit taller if we stand him up, but I think these are pretty, you know, if you just wanted to have this King Kong as a gorilla, I'd imagine that a gorilla might be this big compared to a raptor. If it was, you know, around. This is the Jurassic Park version of a raptor. Deinonychus, I guess, would be the closest thing in as far as height, you know, realistically in real world terms. But this is fun. You know, I think you can get some cool kind of dynamic scenes of these guys fighting. So I just had this guy lying around. And then another figure I have lying around real quick just to get kind of more of a human size. Here is a Marvel Legends Retro Wave Spider-Man, just so you guys can see kind of the height as far as her standing next to a human. So she kind of scales pretty much like she's 6 feet tall, which is kind of accurate for the Jurassic World movies. I think they're about 6 or 7 feet tall. So I think this would be really dope, you know, if you want to pose her while kind of Marvel Legends or G.I. Joes or something like that. And yeah, they do fit, you know, like I said, if you wanted just to throw a figure on and maybe make a little, you know, leather harness for her, maybe a saddle, I think that'd be really cool to take some dope shots maybe. But yeah, those were some quick size comparisons. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching this review. I want to thank you guys for just taking the time to look at this. I know this figure mold, you know, has been out for quite a while. So I appreciate you guys just tapping in and tuning in to this channel, and look out for more figure reviews coming up. So please comment, rate, subscribe, and catch me later on my next review. Peace out.